that it can just go away that quickly. I mean,
Yeah, when it's a reboot. It's a whole reboot. Everything changes. It doesn't
yeah,
change. It just goes away because it's a fresh restart. Should
yeah.
be. I think that's a uniquely PC problem. I don't think anybody that deals with iOS has those problems at all, or OS or Mac OS or whatever the Apple Apple ecosystem is, or Linux for that matter. I think it's just Microsoft.
Yeah, and then they're trying to push this Windows 11 thing. They're like, "Oh, in October
Yeah, I've
2025, we're
got it.
not going to support you anymore."
Yeah,
But
I've got Windows 11. It works great.
yeah, no complaints.
Oh, what's that say? Oh, okay. Location in use by Skype. They're watching.
Oh, yeah. Good luck tracking us down. Hey, we're on the internet.
Are we finally back on the internet?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Hey, everybody, welcome to. I'm going to move up here a little. Hey, everybody, welcome to Critters in
Good
Taiwan, a D&D
idea.
podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I am Ben in Chiang Mai, Thailand,
I am Tim in Taichung, Taiwan.
and we're Critters in Taiwan.
Two of them.
Yeah,
And
buddy.
how many episodes, not counting EXU, is this? I mean,
a few.
just two, or is it a
A
few?
few. It's a few.
Things are happening in lives, just
Yeah,
got
yeah,
a new
yeah.
house with the girlfriend, and we're gonna be moving soon, so this is also gonna take a hiatus. But I
It's
think we're
actually
gonna
pretty.
take a
It's good
default
timing. Yeah, it's
hiatus.
good timing. So we were away for a little while. We missed a couple of episodes because of events in my my part of the world, events in your part of the world, caused life to catch up, and we just missed a couple. So it's all good. But tonight we're going to be talking about.
There it
I'm
is.
not. I'm not ready. Wait. Uh,
Oh no!
wait.
See, we had so much time to prepare.
I know, and we didn't prepare at all. So we've got what do we got here? Um,
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
man.
Do-do-do-do-do. Donuts.
Okay. Right. So we're starting from 119, which is
Oh, that's right, because that one we
I
didn't
will.
know the name of it because it
That's
was
right. We didn't.
Monday.
That's right. We didn't
Yeah.
know the name. So episode 119, Predathos Awakened.
Okay.
Episode 120, The Red End, and the campaign finale, episode 121, A New Age Begins.
Okay. Okay. That kind of says a lot about maybe
Yeah.
what I was going to say a little bit later.
Yep. Yep. One of my light bulbs directly above me is on its way out, so
Being a dick.
there might be some flickering going on. If it is, don't adjust your set. Do people even adjust their sets anymore?
I don't know what that means.
Hmm.
Don't adjust your set. This is normal.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, anyway, those are the three. I think we did 119. We didn't know the name of it, and then 120, Predathos Awakened, and then A New Age Begins. So
Yeah.
I guess today we're just gonna we're wrapping up C3, right? Like this is it. That was the last one. I mean, it was a record-setting episode. It was including the tailgating, it was 9.5 hours. So
yeah.
that's a bit. That's a long one.
I think my housemate has just arrived. I just heard some sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or maybe it was just my cable. If I remember correctly, the penultimate episode was just continuing battle, right?
Yes, it was.
Man,
Yeah.
it's been too
Yeah.
long. And usually, if you've been watching the show,
Mm-hmm.
when there's battle, I have a couple of things to say, but typically I'm just like, okay, they're playing D&D, and if it gets
Yes.
something wrong, it's like I'll wait for Ben to tell me if it's right or wrong, if you even know, because everything's so home brewed. And
A
then
lot of it, yeah.
and the finale is like right down my alley.
Mm-hmm.
It rhymes. Because it's all RP and like,
Yeah.
like wrapping stuff up. It's like, what would you be doing for the next like 3-5 years kind of thing?
Yeah.
Although I don't think they gave that time frame this time, did he?
No, they did a little differently this time, and I think that's intentional. And I think that we don't know. There's a lot of speculation about where this is going to go. I will say that nobody knows what C4 is going to look like, or going to be, or when, or where, or who. There's speculation it might not be the regular cast. It might be passing of the torch per se. There's even wilder speculation that it might not be D&D. It might be Daggerheart. There's even, more speculation that it continues with D&D, which that's my first guess, is that it will, because they're too invested in it.
Yeah.
And it will be, my hope is, if we're just going to jump right into this, my hope is that C4 will be several hundred years in the future.
Wow. Okay.
That's my guess, because it makes the most sense.
Huh.
The episode title for this one is A New Age Begins.
Right.
The right way to start a new age in Exandria, if they're keeping Exandria, the right way to begin a new age in Exandria, a new campaign, would be a couple hundred years in the future. So the world has had a chance to adjust to no gods, or gods, no divinity, really. The
At
gods
eye
are
level,
mortals. Yeah, the gods are mortals.
Which would change a lot on
Mortal. Yeah,
on
changes
the
the
physical
time.
world.
Changes the time. Yep.
Because like they still have
Yep.
some resemblance, some semblance of their powers, but they're a god now, and it's like
Oh, they're gonna basically be omnipotent mortals.
Yeah.
Is sort of what the take is.
but they can still
and
die.
listen, right? I didn't. So I told you about this earlier. I didn't write down a lot of stuff. I just got a lot up here.
Yeah.
It gets real interesting when you start thinking about Vecna.
Yeah.
Because
who was at the meeting, which was
he was.
insane.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
I did not expect that.
No, not supposed to really be there, because he was imprisoned by Vox Machina.
Right.
Or
Hey, lazy girl.
What do you not imprisoned? He was I guess basically imprisoned by the Tremors.
Yeah.
They stopped him from attaining the true godhood or whatever. It was a little weird.
What's
little
the word
wonky.
we're both
Not really
looking
sure
for?
what that means. I'm not sure.
Sealed.
Sealed away. There we go.
Is that the right word? Okay.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a little weird. We got like most of the gods got a say in something and what they thought of it. I mean, you want to jump right into that Nat 20? That was some pretty wild
the convincing Nat 20.
Yeah, for Imogen to convince all the gods to go through the process. Pretty wild.
This is gonna be a free for all. I don't think we have any rollies on the table, as Ben said in a text earlier.
Yeah. There's no. I don't think there's much point in doing that, because we're covering a little bit too much ground. So there's no point in us starting to nitpicking a bunch of things. It's a little bit better, I think, if this is free form and we just sort of go bam, bam, bam and talk about what we think.
It's a wrap
Listen,
up,
man,
and we're wrapping up.
Yeah,
too.
it's a wrap up. I'm just going to throw this out there right now. I was going to save it for a little bit later, but might as well throw it out there. This was not a good campaign and not a good end to a campaign.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Hot take, everybody. I wish I had a hot take button. Not a good campaign and not a good ending. Ooh,
No,
he's coming in hot.
There was too many.
Let's discuss it.
Okay, well, here's my reasoning behind it. We talked about this for months, for years, for the past couple of years. We talked about how this party didn't jive, how it didn't make sense that they were so involved with divinity when there were no real characters invested in any kind of divinity.
This is kind of like a zoomed out kind of look. It's like,
yeah,
why are these people together?
Right.
For example, if I can jump in real quick, Briareus. They've been together for like 3 days, 2 days, and it's like all of a sudden they're all intertwined and shit. It's like, dude, you don't even know this liar.
That's right.
Like,
That's
come on, why are they so important?
Well, because it's Sam.
Continue, please.
And it's the whole point is they're all good friends, and they're all just going to bend suspend all disbelief of people just sort of joining together for whatever reason, because that's what happens in D&D. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we talk about it frequently.
We talk a lot, and then also Matt's inability to sort of really deal any serious repercussions to them going through these things like death or in looking back at everything, it really
death is a big one for me, dude.
It really turns. This campaign really turns at a couple of moments, and I'll just throw a couple of them out there in my mind.
Let's get them out there, Bo.
Laudna, Marisha refusing to let Laudna die. Making
Hated
it a point. Making a point. That's your point. The other one is Shardgate with the shard. The whole Ashton wanting to put both shards in his Taliesin
he should have died.
Should have died.
Yep. He was in lava. You should have
Swordgate.
died.
Yeah, Swordgate.
Remind me, please.
where Laudna grabs the Odahan's sword and then darts out the window because Orym wanted it. Ishta, the Summit Blade.
It's like
He or
Bolgate all over again.
Yeah. Our Orym wanted the sword, and Laudna's like, "No, we will not," and grabs it, and then jumps out the window and climbs up to the top of the roof, and then
Right, right, right.
Imogen flies up there. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
And it's at that point that the
I felt
party,
bad for Liam because he was just like, dude, I just
100%.
wanted to use a weapon, dog.
That's right. So the it's after these incidents that you start to recognize that the players are avoiding all conflict. They don't want any part of it. And you start and it's I realize I'm like, wait a minute, this is them just wanting to play D&D, and there's nothing wrong with that. But a live table and live streaming and a live game, like watching an actual game play, we as the audience, we're paying for this in many ways, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's whatever. It's not good for us at all. It may be good for the players, and we can talk about that for a bit, about Matt saying many times that the game is ultimately not for us, it's ultimately for the players, and they're having a good time, and that's totally fine, and that's great. But you gotta you gotta hold them to a little bit of something.
You and I have been a little bit split on, not split between us, but split on that thing where it's like, is it for the players or is it for the spectators?
Right.
Because we go back and forth saying, sorry to interrupt, but we go back and forth saying, it's for us because we pay for this content, but also D&D is for the players, making sure they have a good time, and we're just watching them play.
That's right. But when you're watching disinterested players, when you're watching them, they don't want to get in, they don't want to create conflict. They're just letting things go. They're letting this Minotaur follower of a betrayer god jump in and just be part of the party and be like, oh yeah, no, I'll just trust myself to fall asleep beside you every night, and it's all
blind
good.
eye. Yeah.
There's the attorney. It's just you're avoiding conflict, and you're avoiding conflict, and you're avoiding, and then it's like, okay, we're just gonna have Chetney, being a smartass all the time, and this Fern just having her way, and Ashley metagaming all the time with Fern, and Imogen being sort of wavering about. Listen, bottom line is, if we're going to look at this big picture from a character perspective, Imogen committed the biggest crime of treason that Exandria has ever seen by bringing Predathos and releasing Predathos when they expressly told the entire Exandrian council of all of them that they would not do that.
Yeah.
And then that's exactly what they did, and nothing happens.
Right.
There's a minor little discussion when she releases it, and then the guard comes up to the top of the stairs, and they have a minor little discussion. Is it gone? Oh, okay. Hey, you're free to go. Go do whatever you want. No, like charges of treason or you lied or any of that stuff. It's like, right, there's really no repercussions for anything that they do. Nothing. And that turns me off as a viewer, and it makes me sort of disinterested in everything that happens. I mean, there's going to be things that happened and whatever, but I could go on and on and on and on and on about all the things that I didn't like about this finale, all the stuff that Vox Machina got involved in, and then the Mighty Nine gets involved in, and where the Bell's Hells goes after this. But at the end of the day, all I really care about is what Campaign 4 is going to look like. That's it. Yeah. I don't care for a lot of the stuff that happened. I don't. Just plain and simple. I was like, this is not what I wanted to watch. This is not that interesting to me. I watched 9.5 hours of some good parts. There were good moments. I'm not gonna lie. I shed some tears at a couple of points because there was some moving stuff that was going on. But at all in all, on balance, not good for me.
Can I share a little tear shedding moment?
Yeah, I'm sure it was the same that I had as well.
I hope it's not just a ragging session, but
it might end up being.
It might, but it's okay. Hey, Ninja Gaiden had Ninja Gaiden 3. Nobody talks about it, right?
That's right.
1 and 2, great. 3, let's skip it. I hope this isn't the case. But so like, okay, so we all kind of see that the Vax coming back is kind of a thing,
Yeah.
maybe, right?
Yeah.
Because if the gods are becoming mortal, then what about their champions? But then it's like, I always have my issue with death in these games, just because if it should constantly be a threat, you know,
It
and
should
like
be. Absolutely.
when they brought Laudna back and they kind of justified it, where it's like, hey, no, we want our players to have a good time. It's about our players. It's like, okay, so then I'm no longer worried about them dying. Because
Yes.
if one of you chooses that they want to still be alive, then you're just going to bring them back somehow. And I lost like, I was upset for a few episodes after that. I
I
was like,
know.
oh,
I,
who
we,
cares?
yeah, we talked about this. Yeah, absolutely.
Go back and watch it. I was like, okay, so who gives a shit? There's going to be a battle. I don't care. I'm going to skip past it. If somebody dies, oh, all right, let's just bring him back. Or like in Taliesin, the way he did it in the first campaign with Percy, he said, depending on what they say, I'm either going to come back or not. Or was that second campaign?
That might have been second. Yeah.
It might have been second. That seems a little bit more recent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when the threat of dying isn't even there, then who the fuck cares about battle, right?
That's right.
So, all right, so Vax comes back. He's got this life, and then and I'm just sitting there. It's like, oh man, when they see each other, a lot of pressure on the actors, of course. And then when she opens the door, she's like, "Is this real? Or is this like we got to start over?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's it." Wipe the tears away. I'm like, "Oh fuck, I guess that's it." There was not because I was expecting more acting. It just seemed like Keyleth was like expecting him to come back.
Yep.
Which I don't know. Maybe she was, but it just wasn't talked about. But then, like, you open the door and it's like, oh, there he is. Okay,
Yep.
we got to start over. Is that cool? And you're like, yeah, that's cool. And like, all right. And that's the end of it.
I
I'm
know.
sitting there pre-shedding tears, and then this
Yes.
shows up and like, oh, fuck. What was that for?
Yeah.
I was
agree.
upset.
That's
I was upset.
It's one of those. It's one of the moments. It's like it doesn't. It's not satisfying. You're like we've been invested in this for 10 years, and it didn't feel good as this to be the ending for this age, like the age of Vox Machina, Mighty Nine, and Bell's Hells. It just didn't feel like a good ending. It didn't feel right. A lot of it didn't feel right. Some of it felt like this felt rushed. It felt pushed through. It felt mildly contrived. It just didn't feel the right way. It felt a little too okay. It just felt like they were I think a lot of it is we're empathizing with their blasé, laissez-faire, slightly disinterested, maybe borderline apathetic attitudes about what was going on.
Apathetic or empathetic?
Apathetic. Their apathetic attitudes. Does that make sense? Like just that they were slightly not interested. And we haven't really talked about another aspect of this was that this episode got interrupted.
That's right, by the fires and such.
Right, by the fires in LA. So there was they recorded the first half and then the fires, then they got shut down and then they come back and record again. Yeah. So that may have had something to do with the wrap up at the very end, but I don't think so. We can use that as an excuse, maybe, but not really.
Yeah. Shit, what was I going to say about that? I think a big part of this is that, okay, so they're in the same world, the same universe that's been existing in the same way for 3 campaigns.
Yes.
And then so you have a third campaign where they're starting at level 1 or 0, I don't know, level 1, right?
When they started as Bell's Hells, I think they were all 3.
Right. Okay. Yeah. It's seldom 1 or something, right? They have session 0 and they check shit out, but then
I think that I hope they do. This is one of the things on my wish list for campaign. Go ahead. Continue with your thought because I've got a lot to say about that.
Okay, the world they exist in have tons of level 20s just right there in the beginning, So they're like level 3s, level 5s, and they're talking to level 20s, and then like they have to find some way that the level 20s can't do it, and it's like, so these little pieces of shit have to go in there and do something, or just keep it away from anything super important, or whatever it is that Matthew does that's fantastic. Extremely well done what you do, Matthew. But I don't know. It just seems like maybe it falls in line that, yeah, they're at level 15. They find sneaky ways to bring them up to level 17 or 18 or whatever, but they're still not level 20.
That's
and
right.
then, so that you have to find some kind of creative way that maybe just can't be done when these people exist, but you still have to do something super important too.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're kind of pigeonholed a little bit.
100%.
If that's the right
It's
word.
it's we're kind of rehashing a lot of what we've talked about over the past couple of years
Are
about
we?
the
I
ideas.
apologize if
A little
that's...
bit. No. I'm doing it. We're both doing it. It's sort of like we're talking about these same things, but it all comes to a head here. So it's if you don't address these
It's a
issues,
confirmation or
then
validation.
yeah, validation, exactly. Yeah, it's like we've seen this happen, and we're griping, but it is I think legitimate. So if I can sort of tangent off of this, but parallel tangent, uh, EXU Divergence is going on right now.
Yeah.
Have you
I'm not
watched
it.
it?
I watched the first one.
So I watched the first one as well.
I didn't
It's
start the second one.
No, neither did I. Actually, that's not true. It's a lie. I started it today. It's excellent. I'm loving it.
I liked the D and
It's
D of the first one,
yeah.
but I don't
So
really have a reason to watch it.
well, yeah, fair enough. I really like it. So the reviews are in from episode 2, and a lot of people on the socials are saying it's the best episode of Critical Role ever.
Wow. Okay.
It's
so
high
I'm
praise.
definitely gonna
High
watch
praise. I'm an hour into it. It's another 5-hour episode.
It's again.
Episode 1 was 5.5 hours. This one's 5.5 hours. They're long. Episode 2 is I haven't watched it yet. I'm an hour in and I'm loving it. Again, this is here's my tangent and parallel tangent. EXU Divergent is a bunch of NPCs. They're all level 0.
Yeah.
And it's compelling to watch. It's really, really, really good. And because they're just NPCs, they're just level 0s. They're just people trying to get by as the world is going to shit.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I'm really enjoying it. It's dark, it's grimy, it's gritty, it's got there are repercussions. Listen, man, spoilers for episode 2, it's fucking dark. Like shit that goes on. It's
One was dark.
Yeah, it gets even darker, and I kind of like it. I'm kind of enjoying it. It's a bit of a reprieve from what happened in campaign 3. I'm enjoying that aspect of it because it feels more real. It feels a lot more like D&D than what the hero's quest of campaign 3 wrapped up to be, where it was just, oh yeah, cupcakes and fairy tales and rainbows and unicorns and wonderful.
Right.
It's not satisfying.
Right.
And so shit, what was my point there? So damn it, it's gone.
Okay. I was almost finished with the first episode of the EXU Downfall? No.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Divergence.
I got it back.
Divergence.
Yes, Divergence.
You got it back?
Yes. Yeah, I got it back.
Tie that string.
Yep.
And then she might hate me saying this, but then me and the girlfriend had a bit of an argument. And then I was like, okay, so we're kind of like talking about this and we're going to get past it, whatever. And I went back and tried to finish off the first episode of Divergence, right?
Yes.
And I'm getting it confused with Downfall every second.
Yeah.
And then it was all about like death and like somebody was just like, oh no, is there water over there because there's trees? And it's like, oh, that's hot. And I couldn't watch it because I was kind of down about having an argument with my girlfriend. So I was like, no, I can't do this. So it took me like 5 days to actually go back and watch the last
You're not
20
alone,
minutes.
Man. You're not alone.
That was some heavy stuff. Even though it's an NPC, but they got me. BLM, dude.
Yeah, he's good. He's very good.
You got your point back there?
Those the five that are playing. Quick little, I got a bunch of things to say. I knew that I recognized, so we know Alex. Well, Liam and Matt, easy. Alex, we know from he played in the the other.
You mean the actors? Or the players?
Yeah. Alex is the guy that plays the Crocus, the Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Excellent fucking method acting, by the way. He's amazing. Him and Liam are stealing the show as those two Dragonborns. Matt's really good with the dwarf too. The other two ladies, I don't know Jasmine. I know I looked her up and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, she's like a famous person. But I didn't recognize, I was like, I know that lady. The one that plays, not Frida, Who's the one that she plays? Damn it. Is it Celia? It might be Celia. I forget the name. Anyway, she is Lieutenant Uhura from Star Trek Brave New World. She's Strange New Worlds. The new Star Trek, the one that goes back with Captain Pike before Kirk. So Captain Pike is James T. Kirk, William Shatner's character, from the original Star Trek. He was his training captain, the guy that trained Captain Kirk. And it goes back into one of the first Enterprises, and she plays a very young Lieutenant Uhura from the thing. And it's wonderful. I was watching, I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I know her. Anyway, total sidebar. What I did want to say is I'm really, really, really enjoying Divergence. I'm really loving it. I love these level zeros. I'm loving the grit, the whatever. It's fun to watch. It's dark. It's really grimy. It's very dismal, and a lot of warnings with people on the internet about it. They're like, yeah, if you're not in a good place, don't watch this. It's very disturbing. It's very triggering. It's millennials, Gen Z, whatever you want to whatever you want to label them. They get
It's giving me
sensitive, triggered.
anxiety. It's like,
Right.
no, it's
So they're
not.
like, okay,
you just
well,
feel an emotion, or
you're just feeling emotion.
You
Exactly.
dipshit.
So here's the thing: viewership on these, this EXU is better than Kymel. It's arguably better than Downfall.
Downfall was good.
Downfall was good, but I think it's better. It's not as good as
Wait, was that the really good one?
No, Calamity's the
Calamity was the good one.
The best one.
Yeah.
Kymel, meh. The Downfall was the most recent one, the one where the gods take down Aor. That's Downfall. Good, but not spectacular. Is good. This is excellent. Viewership is way the fuck down. Way down. Like, I'm talking thousands of viewers down.
Well, maybe because the campaign's over. Why would they watch?
Reddit?
That's kind of how I felt.
This is my point. So Reddit, the comments, the live discussion, tens of thousands of comments. Way down. They're missing. They're just
way down. Oh, sorry.
Way down. Way down. Nobody's watching this. So here's my point.
And arguably the best episode that Critical Role's ever done.
Right. Multiple people are like, this is fantastic. Some of the best D&D they've ever done. This is amazing. Blah, 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 blah. And no one's watching it.
I really like that BLM is competing with himself, and Matthew Mercer's not even in the top 2.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's pretty amazing.
It's crazy. And so here's the point, man, is that you botched the landing with campaign 3 so badly.
Sorry, guys.
People are tired. They're like, yeah, I need a break. And then bam, the next week you drop an amazing series. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, saying that they should keep the momentum going. I rescind that. They should have taken a break. They clearly, I misread the room. I misjudged it. People are tired. They want a break. They wanted to take a break from this, and they should have waited. They should have taken a couple of weeks off and been like, okay, and now EXU comes out. I think they've made a huge mistake. Now,
I see what you're saying. Okay.
You see where I'm going with this?
I thought you were saying maybe Critical Role Bell's Hells takes a break, does Divergence, and then comes back to the finale. That's what I thought you were saying.
I meant after the finale they should have taken a break.
It was you and I were. I mean, you said you were like, I thought they were going to take a break, but here it is right now.
I got a cat fight going on outside. Can I? I'm sorry. I really got to make sure they're okay.
Do your thing.
1 sec. I'll be right back.
What is today? It's Tuesday. Yesterday, my computer guy was supposed to show up and get me some editing software back onto my computer because I've had some PC troubles. However, that didn't work out for one reason or another. So this is just going to be part of the episode. How about shameful self-promotion? Oh, he's back already. All right, I don't get to talk about myself.
Okay,
at
sorry
all.
about that. Our neighbor they're wonderful people. They're a wonderful couple. They have a dick of a cat. She is bigger, significantly bigger than all of our cats, and she comes over and terrorizes them. And our cats are dumb. They're cats. They're just dumb. So they want to fight her, and they lose every time. And I don't want to bring my cats to the vet. So, yeah.
Fair enough. So
anyway, Anyway, back to my point. So
Oh.
they should have taken a break. They should have taken a couple of weeks break, or at least a week, maybe a couple after the finale, then drop Divergence, as opposed to keeping the momentum going, because they botched the landing on campaign 3. That's
Man.
my point. And I'm not the only one that says this. I mean, really, I was thinking it, and then I start reading the comments on like our Critical Role, and people are agreeing. They're like, yeah, why is nobody commenting on this? Nobody cares about this. Nobody's watching this. Why? And then people start chiming in. They're like, well, this is probably why. The finale wasn't good, so everyone's kind of pissed off, tired. They want to take a break. They're like, okay, I'm going to wait. And I think in their defense, I think a lot of people, what they might be doing is waiting for the series to be over and then go back and binge it, or go back and watch it at their leisure, as opposed to watching it, because viewership is way down live. Beacon way down, YouTube way down, Twitch way down for EXU Divergence, way down. The numbers don't lie. The numbers do not lie.
Nor do these hips. My question is, how would the botched finale? How is that related to taking a break between the finale and Divergence?
Well, people are tired. They're bored. They're like, okay, this was like me. Like I wish I could have taken. I wish I had taken a break. I wish I had
Okay,
just
so
been like,
you wish there was a breather.
I need a breath to kind of get to process what this terribleness that I just watched, and the unsatisfying resolutions for a lot of things, or no resolutions. Like I keep coming up with them in my head as we're talking. The whole bargain with Chetney and with Orem with Nanamori. They make these bargains, and they're just washed away. No repercussions happen. Nothing happens to them. It's just like, okay, no problem. Oh yeah, no worries. It's all good, guys. Don't worry about it. And you can explain that in many different ways if you want to. Like, oh well, they were on a different planet, on a different moon. They were away from Exandria, so anything that happens doesn't matter. It's all done. They come back, and Nanamori said, I think in the wrap up, she was like, oh yeah, no, I don't have any power there. I can't go there anyway, so nothing could have happened. Blah blah. It's like, you're just sweeping it away. It's still, this is a fae, an archfey, a very, very, very powerful archfey that by all rights should have grabbed Orem and stuffed him in the topiary, turned him into a hedge, and be done with it. Because that's what she would do with anybody else. But
Yeah.
because it's Liam O'Brien, yeah, it doesn't happen.
Right.
And because it's Travis Willingham, that doesn't happen to Chetney either. So it's, I just feel like very unsatisfied with a lot of these things that we're wrapped up with. It's like no repercussion. Everybody gets a hero's feast. Everybody gets a hero's welcome. Doesn't matter that they committed treason and that they lied to the entire planet, and they did the thing they weren't supposed to do. They were justified in doing it because it was gonna. It's a better result. Yeah, but that's not what you said. Like, you lied, and
When you're
there's no repercussions for it.
dealing with Archfey, if you're going to be juggling chainsaws, you might lose a hand. In which case, might have been Liam's character. You know, be like, oh, and I took you for this, and it's like, but it's because it's Liam. It's like, oh no, you nicked the glove, and your hand is it. Yeah,
Right.
I'm sorry. The like when they're again with the death thing, if there are no consequences or repercussions, you're gonna lose my interest a little bit.
100%. That's what I felt very. I mean, I loved parts of it. There were parts of the finale that were in the wrap up that were really good. The epilogue, it's like, okay, that's satisfying. That felt good, and there were some tears, and I had some laughs, and there were some funny moments, and some redemption things, and all of that. But on balance, not good. On balance, not good.
Yeah, I mean, like, for example,
It lost my interest many times. I turned to my phone and be like, yeah, whatever, I don't care about this. And I was honestly, I was meh.
I found myself going
Didn't
back
feel
a
good.
lot because I was like, I was just losing interest as they were wrapping everything up. I'm like, I know they're wrapping things up. They're going from character to character. Like, for a good example, I suppose, in the first campaign where it's like, Scanlan asks Pike to marry him, you know, and then Ashley, I'm going to say Ashley, not Pike. She was like, oh, actually, I was going to do that too. And it's like, you're just saying that because it's the end of the campaign, and, you know, it's the end of the story. So, like, happily ever after. And then somewhat similarly in this campaign at the end, where, like, they finally saw Frida, you know, at some point in the second half or whatever.
Yeah.
They were like, you know, everybody was like, oh shit, like, we got to tell them about FCG. And then they were like, I know, you know, it's like, okay, so they heard from word of mouth.
Yeah.
Because time passes and FCG is somewhat of an impactful character or whatever. And then what it came down to was like, nope, I felt it.
Hmm.
I'm like, what do you mean you felt it?
Yeah, it's a little too. I know. I
It's
caught
just
that moment
hand
too. I'm
wavy
like,
kludgy. I'm like, what do you mean you felt it?
hmm
Are you putting this in front of Matthew, or did you and Matthew discuss this? You
mm,
just feel that somebody that you're in love with dies? Sorry,
yeah,
bro. Like, yeah, it's a
yeah.
magical world, but
I
you
know.
just maybe
It's
they're
again.
Aeorian, so there's a connection in the
That's right.
Aeorian.
That's right. It's my point earlier. You're just writing a fairy tale magic rainbow ending where it's everything is wonderful and everything's coming at Millhouse all the time, and it's not right. It doesn't feel good for us. It doesn't. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. I've been part of campaigns where DMs have hand waved stuff and it doesn't feel good. Even
Hmm.
though it advances the storyline, it doesn't feel right. I've been at tables and I'm like, I don't like this. It's not the way I want. I want it to be a little more a little crunchier than that.
Yeah,
I want it to be there to be a little bit more feels involved,
sure.
where it's there's you have to make compromises. You have to really sort of be like, okay, uh, I want that to happen, but there's gonna be a take. There's
Yeah.
some give. There's some take. There's got to be. Yeah. Anyway, that's the
Yeah,
way
I
I
mean,
sort of like felt that with a lot of things. Oh, we talk about the players coming back too, like the redemption of Opal, the Frida arc, the who else came in? There was feels like there was some others too. I don't really remember now. Anyway, yeah, the guests that sort of came. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. It turns out because if you did you notice that Erika Aishi was in the behind the scenes at the break of the finale when they said, okay, the LA County has declared a state of an emergency. We
mm,
have to that we can't in good conscience continue filming. Blah 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 blah. Did you watch that?
I did watch it, but I didn't
Yeah.
notice.
So Erika Aishi was there.
Yeah.
And the rumor was that she was going to reprise you. Remember
Right. Yeah.
remember her character that she
Yeah.
played?
She was the first one that you called was going to be
Yeah,
somebody who was actually evil at the table.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Never happened. So the thought is the general consensus is that scheduling conflict. She couldn't come back when they reshot. So
Hmm.
wash that away. It doesn't happen.
Yeah,
But it's
I guess
like,
that makes
okay,
sense.
so it makes
That's
sense.
not in their
That's fine.
control, Yeah.
That's right. That's out of their control. But then at the same time, you're like, okay, that would have been really compelling to watch. That would have been interesting, maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe it would have been terrible. I don't know. Maybe we're lucky it didn't happen because it could have stacked on to all the terrible stuff that happened.
And
I don't know.
also on that front, maybe Matthew, because that was supposed to happen, he's like, "Oh shit, I got to throw something together here." And maybe he was a little rushed for the second
Yeah,
half,
could be. Good. Well, it didn't feel rushed. It felt like they were really taking their time.
Well, Matthew's really good at what he does,
Yeah.
so of course it's not going to feel rushed because he's
Yeah.
good at it. Um, but yeah, I
This
did
is.
feel like it was a little forced, and it's just kind of like, okay, we're wrapping up this episode, but
I
it took a little
have.
bit too long, I thought.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're
Given the
going to reflect.
content.
They're going to reflect on all of this. I really hope so. I think they take things. I think they really do. They don't post and ghost. I really think they do pay attention to what the comments are, and they really watch, and they have, or if they don't, they have their production team
They
does,
got people
and
to do it,
they
yeah.
that's right. They got people that are paying attention to what other people are saying. They're looking at the metrics. They're looking at the numbers. They're a big company now, so they've got to do these things. They're looking at it. I really believe they're gonna do a massive time jump into the next campaign.
Hmm.
If they're going to stick with Exandria, they almost have to because they really need to say goodbye to Vox Machina, Mighty Nine, and Bell Cells. And jumping ahead a few hundred years does that.
Absolutely.
Keyleth will likely still be around, but she might not be Keyleth anymore. She
Hmm.
might be something different. Much like that when Bell Cells encountered that druid that was like a tree,
Yeah,
and it's like you turn into a tree.
that's
That might
eventually what happens, yeah.
Yeah, that might be what they encounter with Keyleth in the future, which
Yeah,
would be
she's
very, very, very satisfying. I'd be very happy with all of that.
I'd be
It would be
super
really
happy
good to
with that.
watch.
That
Yeah,
would be
no
very yeah.
more, no more fan service for Vox Machina or Bell Cells or Mighty Nine. No more at all. Done.
Let it go.
Their legacies might live on. If one of them plays a wizard, for example, they might start encountering Widowghast's fire spells, things like that. They might encounter some relics and some things of other players, but other characters, but not the characters themselves, and that's I think a good thing.
I
That's
think
I think
that's the best thing going for
yeah
jumping forward a couple hundred years. Like 300-400 years would be a great jump. You know,
yeah
Chetney's dead. I mean,
yep
Scanlan and Pike are dead.
yeah
You
everyone's
know,
gone.
yeah,
Everyone's gone.
it's all
Whitestone
gone
Legacy.
except for
It'd be a
maybe Keyleth. That's it.
yeah,
But
it'd be a
legacies,
couple
of
of
course, can stay.
generations. Couple of generations at Whitestone have the DeRollo family. They'll be the kids of the kids of the kids. You know, they'll be the one. It'll be all brand new NPCs that they'll encounter with all brand. And who knows? With a couple hundred years, a lot of things could change. It might not be the DeRollos at Whitestone anymore. It might
Hmm.
be somebody completely different. Good, maybe bad, maybe good. Who knows? Iman could be totally different. A lot of things can completely change. Iman might be recovered at this point from Thordak's destruction of it. A lot of things could be really, really good, and I really hope we see that. I hope they take some time, and I hope we get to see those sorts of things because Exandria is awesome. It's a beautiful campaign setting. They've written a lot of source material for it, so they really shouldn't abandon it. But I think they should time skip a lot.
Yeah,
I hope they do. I'll
to
be
write a
disappointed if they
new
don't.
universe would take a lot of time, a lot of hiatus.
Yeah. Well, what did Exandria started with Stilben, I think, right? That's where
Mm.
it all or I think it was Stilben.
There's
I
By
can't remember.
Roden was one of the first ones.
The very first one was where they started in a city, and I think it was Stilben, and that was the home campaign where
It
they started there, and it was just Matt
rings a
drew a
bell.
city,
Yeah.
freehand drew a city, and was like, okay, you're starting here. This is where you are. And that was all it was just a city on an unnamed continent. It became Taldore, and then it became all the other cities and everything, all just sort of piece by piece. So it's not impossible to do.
My
It
favorite
a
is By
lot.
Roden. So it's like,
Yeah,
why is it called that? Oh, because it's by a road.
yeah, yep.
That's my favorite, and that's where Vax and Vex are from.
Weirdly, I didn't realize how close Byroden was to what was the jail that the Divergence started in? They started at Rybold.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
Damn it, I don't remember the name. Anyway, Byroden is just a little bit north of Rybold. Kybold.
It's not Kymel.
Nope, Rybold. The place where the Divergence setting starts in. Damn
Oh,
it.
jeez. Oh, yeah. You're. Yeah.
Rybold Cole. Rybold Cole. Rybold. Damn it.
Kobol.
EXU Divergence.
Here he goes. He's searching, folks.
I am.
He's searching and reaching.
Oh, I typed. I'm like, why isn't it coming up? Oh, because I typed in ECU. Oh boy. All right, here we go.
That's a bit of a dive.
Yep. Rybold. Man, I can't find it. Why isn't my phone working here?
Speaking of being able to recall some things,
Mm-hmm.
when we first started this campaign, I watched through the first campaign probably 3 times. The
Okay.
second campaign probably 2.5. And I remember at one point around episode 30 of the third campaign, I told you I was like, I think I'm gonna start watching again so I can get all these details right. And you were like, I think I'll wait until like episode 50 and then maybe I'll do that too.
Okay.
I never ended up doing it. Like I was like, I just didn't have
Rybold
that
Cole.
same
There it is.
Ribald
Found it.
Cole.
Ribald Cole.
You can really understand why that. I mean, there's kobolds. And there's
Yeah, I know. Rybad Cole. Yeah. Anyway, it's like the where that is right at the very southern tip of a peninsula on Taldore,
Hmm.
on just south of Byroden.
Oh, and
I think that's all.
that's where some shit
Yep.
started.
Yes.
Disseminated, perhaps.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I never felt the need in the third campaign to go back and try to get I did watch the first 10 or 15 episodes again.
I know.
But
I
then
never
I
did.
just kind of stopped. I was like,
Same with me. I went back and watched the first one again, and I was like, oh, I'm really not that interested in this because I didn't feel good about what had happened in 30 and 40 and 50 and 60.
not
I'm
a
like,
lot happened.
I
That was
don't
my
feel
problem.
good. It's something that we talked about several times. Is there was no arcs, there was one arc, there was no downtime for the players to the characters to build community, to build some form of like downtime where they have little side campaigns and little side quests and
Hmm.
backstory things, and the
Learning about
backstory stuff.
characters,
Yeah, learning about their characters
getting
and their
intimate with
characters.
characters by watching
Yes,
the show,
which is what they did in campaign 1 and what they did in
and two,
campaign 2,
extremely
deeply in campaign
well in campaign two. Yeah.
amazingly well. The campaign 2 was all about arcs. It was all about going back and finding this character's backstory and this one, and taking downtime, taking a couple of weeks to do some stuff, and getting to know each other, having little side conversations and downtime. They
This is
never
some
had that.
This is some happenstance with the juxtaposition of campaign one and campaign two, because
Yeah.
campaign one was basically just archetypes of themselves.
Yes.
Grog, a half
Yep.
giant, and like
Yep.
everybody else is like, oh, rogue and all. They're all basically playing like, oh, the healer and stuff. And then campaign two,
Mhm.
wildly different character.
Right.
So we are all very invested in learning who this character is, because it's so
Yes.
different from
Yes.
the character, the
Yep.
actor playing the character. So that just happenstance. That was lucky for them. We were all so invested in that,
I
and we
hope-
couldn't stop watching.
I really hope for campaign 4 they go back to that style and build interesting characters that have really fun backstories that are deep and fun and interesting and dark and mysterious, fun and lackadaisical or whatever they may want to do. But it's depth of backstory.
Lots
The-
of pressure on that,
We get sure, but we also get Liam, Ashley, and Robbie, all of them coming out of EXU with those pre-made characters that we had already seen. Their backstories are really intertwined. Well, Orem's especially with Keyleth having that that connection, which just wasn't clever. It felt contrived. It felt sort of convenient. It's like, oh, how convenient. You are you intimately know the leader of the Arashari, who just happens to be Marisha's character from campaign 1, and
I don't.
not satisfying at all.
I don't think that was. I think we both agreed on that when we watched that first episode. I don't think that was something that was pre-planned. I think it was something, and this is just my opinion here, something that was like, hey, what if we, for the third campaign, you got these characters. What if we just bring them in? That's new. That's interesting. Be like, oh
Yes.
yeah, sure. And then we'll write the backstories around that. It's like
there was an episode of something where Liam and Ashley both explained why they play tested these characters and they really liked them. They had other characters. They had other characters for campaign 3, but when they play tested them with EXU, they really liked them.
What,
So
they
they
have 8
wanted to carry
episodes?
them on.
Was it
4,
8?
I think.
4, just 4, right?
I think it was just 4. Maybe 6. I don't remember. Maybe 8. I don't remember how many it was.
I think it's 4.
Yeah. Sure. But there was, I remember reading or seeing an interview or something where they said, yeah, they had campaign 3 characters, but when they play tested them, they play tested a few with Abria. They play tested Liam play tested 2. I think Ashley play tested a couple. And she really liked Fern, and she wanted to continue on into campaign 3 with Fern. And so they talked to Matt about it, and Matt said, fine, yeah, bring them in. It's totally fine.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Anyway, that's going back. I could be misremembering. Who knows? But bottom line is, it wasn't well done. Yeah,
I'm pointing at the comment section.
yeah.
Get in touch if we're way off base. Just get in touch.
We could be way off base. Listen, man, it could be. But I don't think so. I've watched this for 10 years. I know that. Like I was a little bit late to the campaign 1 party, not that late. And I was right on with I watched all the episodes, not live, but that weekend of 1 and of 2 and 3. So I'm invested in this. This again, all my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, Tim. It doesn't really matter to me. But this is the way that I feel. I don't feel good. That's a lie. I feel great. I don't feel great about what is going on with Critical Role, or what went on with Critical Role campaign 3. That's all. And I hope I look back at it as just a bump in the road. I'm sure I will, because I'm sure they'll bring it back with campaign 4. Or maybe they don't. Maybe this is their swan song, and maybe they actually just hand the torch over, and it's something completely different, which I'll be happy with too.
Yeah, actually too. Yeah, I think I watched the first campaign 3 times, but if you the number of times that I watched the finale episode of campaign
Mm,
1, I watched it many times.
many times, multiple times. I've gone back every once in a while and just watched little bits and pieces of it every once in a while because it's that good.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
really good fucking, wrap up.
Yeah.
The second campaign, I didn't watch the finale more than a couple of
It
times,
was
but
harder to watch because of COVID. They were separate. They were social
yeah,
distance, and it wasn't as fun to watch because they're not sitting at the same table.
yeah.
So,
And I also I thought the music was a little bit jarring because they
mm,
had a double kick going on that was like a little bit too poppy in my headphones.
mm.
But yeah, but I did watch the post battle stuff where Kingsley came out.
Right, right, right,
I
right.
watched that a number of times. I would say
Yeah,
maybe 4 or 5. Whereas the
yeah.
first campaign, probably 20-ish of
There you go.
the finale,
Yeah.
and this one. Now, of course, yeah, it is 8.5 hours, but that
Hmm.
doesn't stop me from being able to scrub forward and then just watch the last hour. But
Yep.
I don't feel the need.
Yep.
It didn't grab me as much.
That's right.
Yeah, there were a couple of tears, but again, like I said before, those tears were wiped off. I'm like, oh, that's it.
Yeah. Same with me. It felt slightly unsatisfying. More
Yeah.
than slightly. It felt very, and it's okay. It's fine to think that because it is what it is. It's for them. Hey, listen, I hate to do this, but I got to wrap this up pretty soon. I got some stuff I got to get. It's 7 o'clock, so I got to get going.
Okay, yeah,
If
7 o'clock. This guy.
Yep.
Well, then let me ask this last little thing here that I got written down. Predictions.
Shoot.
We had some predictions,
Yes.
mostly you, because you're more the predicting type.
That's
You
what
had
I
some
do.
predictions
Yeah,
about
I
like,
live on predictions.
I think Matthew's going to destroy this place, and then start with a whole new place in the future.
Yep, that didn't happen.
We had some
Maybe that's why I'm not as happy about the ending because
because
I
it didn't
really want
happen.
that to happen because it didn't happen. That's 100%. That could be. Thank you for that. That could be the reason. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Like, yeah. And I'm thinking like TPK. I've been waiting for a
Yep.
TPK, dude.
Yep.
Like if not in EXU, like in this next episode, I don't know. I haven't finished it. And there's 2 more to come. They're level 0. Yes,
Yeah.
TPK.
Yeah.
Get rid of them. Go
Yep.
ahead.
Yep. They're just NPCs. Let them go.
Let it happen. Like not like rocks fall, everybody dies, but just like make it worthwhile. They're trying to escape and they can't get out. All right, that's it. And things are getting difficult. Like that's the end of the first one. Things are getting tough, guys, and
Yeah, man.
you're getting wounds because you're so dehydrated. Like your feet are
Yeah.
starting to crack. You're bleeding, and I'm like, yes, kill them all. Kill them
Yes.
all. I don't want things to die, but I want to see a goddamn TPK at some point because I haven't seen one and I only heard about it. It's like a myth to me.
I've been part of them. They're not fun.
I think that I would enjoy watching those.
I might enjoy watching one, but being part of one is unpleasant.
Ugh.
I'll just say from the couple of TPKs that I've been involved in have ended in a lot of shouting at the table, anger, a lot of anger.
That's TV these days, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
that's reality television. That's what
Yep.
everybody wants.
Yep.
Maybe not you. It's like that show ruined my life. It's like, yeah, but I liked it. Any other predictions? Those are the 2 big ones. We were
Yeah,
both kind
and
of
they didn't happen.
hoping for
I
that.
know.
Another
know.
one was maybe some space life because they're going to an extraterrestrial orb out there.
Yeah.
So there might have been like
That's another thing that we got to talk about is that if they do a time jump in 200 years, where do the Rylorans fit in after a couple hundred years? Woo, that'll be fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, they're the
You
Blue
think-
Hope, the Blue Dream. I don't
Blue
remember
Dream.
which one. Yeah.
Blue Dream. What do you think the odds are that 1 or 2 of them come back in campaign 4 as Rylorans?
Oh, I mean, high, of
Yeah,
course.
pretty
That's a
high,
high
right?
chance, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
then
there's a couple of races they could be, like a couple of different races of species. Sorry, they don't call them races anymore.
Oh, right,
Species
yeah.
of Rylorans that they could be, like the Bormodos or the Shrikes or the I don't know the Juggernauts. Be fun to see Travis play a Juggernaut. I'm not gonna lie. Be pretty fun.
Very interesting to see how they would go, from campaign 1 to campaign 2 to campaign 3
Mm.
and then to campaign 4. At this point, it's like, well, I don't think you can surprise me. Travis went to Chetney for this one. He went
Yes.
from, grog to middle to small.
Yep.
Well, what's left? A normal
Yes.
sized or maybe otherworldly? Sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. I had a point I wanted to bring
Sorry.
up. Fuck. It's gone. If it comes up, it'll come up.
There you go. Yep.
Shit, it was almost there again. With campaign 4, oh wait, here it is. With campaign 4, I was a little skeptical that it would actually exist.
Okay.
Like if they would have a campaign 4, or if like Exandria is done and we're gonna do something like Daggerfall, and like start a whole new Daggerheart, thank you, and then start a whole new place. Which
the problem, the reason I'm skeptical about that is if they do, they're going to shoehorn it in, and not in a good way, because the play testing, the system is not well universally beloved. A lot of diehards, gamers, like tabletop TTRPG guys, they love it, they like it, but there's a small minority. Most people want D&D. The majority of their audience wants D&D. Exactly. So, which is another thing. If they play 2014 or if they play 2024 will be interesting, because we saw at the end of this campaign there were some problems with the rules mixing. There was some, especially with magic stuff, because the spells were different and a lot of the rules are different. I'll say this right off the hop. EXU Divergence is clearly not using 2024 rules. BLM is using 2014 rules for it because, it's very, very. I was like, that's not right. You're playing the old way. Oh, you're playing the old way. Okay, right off the bat, like with the exhaustion rule set, it's very different in 2024 than it is in 2014.
Oh, is it?
It is. Yeah, there are a lot of little
I didn't
crunchy
pick
things.
up on that.
I don't like all of the 2024 rule set, but the exhaustion way is better. The exhaustion way of 2014 is not well thought out.
Huh.
Okay. With the way it's well thought, the way it's thought of in 2024 is much better. The way that they do it in 2014 is your first level of exhaustion is you roll with disadvantage. Your second one is half movement. Your third one is everything is at disadvantage. Your fourth is your max hit point level is halved. Your
Sounds a little slow.
Fifth level is speed is 0. Sixth level is die. In 2024,
sorry, you ramp up this far and then die.
You can die, yeah. At 6 levels of exhaustion, you're dead. In 2024, it's still 6 levels, you're dead. But the way they get there is just you're more and more and more tired.
Right.
All your ability scores get. There's a formula. It's a really simple one. I don't remember exactly. First level is your ability scores are halved by your level. And then second level, it's ×2, and then ×3, and then ×4, and then ×5, and then dead. So you just get, it's much more realistic. As you get more and more exhausted, you can't do anything well.
Yeah.
Not just certain things, but everything.
Yeah.
It's like the DC just keeps rising and rising and rising of everything. Opening a door becomes super difficult. Yeah. Everything becomes more difficult. And that's the way it should be with exhaustion. It's a better system. It's a better system.
Yeah, instead of picking one thing and then another thing.
Yeah. Disadvantage and advantage work really, really well.
Nope, now you can't do that. Now you can't do this. Now you can't do this.
When you're exhausted, you still have. So you say your saving throws are at disadvantage. Well, there's still a chance you could roll double 20s. So you nat 20 when you're super exhausted. Come on now. Or your very first one is at disadvantage and you roll double 1s. Well, that's not really realistic, It's you can RP it to be more realistic, but in terms of actual physics, it's not quite right. So the way they've done it is better. So to reprise what I was saying earlier, BLM is doing it the original way, and it's not as it's pretty shitty to watch. Spoilers. It's pretty shitty to watch.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on the difference, so I was just sitting there like, yeah, they're getting exhausted. Maybe they could have gotten exhausted faster.
Yeah.
Because I felt like towards the end of that first episode that he was going to kill them.
Right.
Right. And
Yep.
I did get to the end, and I don't think everybody died, so I don't know. What I was getting at though,
Well, they're
also,
not. Listen, they're not. When that at the end of that first episode, they're not home yet. So there's still
they're not looking good.
the first hour of the next episode, dude, is rough.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you're gonna watch it, buckle up. It's rough.
yeah. Well, I'm
I
ready.
won't.
I'm
I
ready
won't
for that
spoil.
now.
I won't spoil anything more. Hey, I really got to get going here.
Okay.
Soonish.
Uh, one quick last little thing.
Yep. Go.
In the episode, the 9-hour episode,
Yes.
the second half also being separate from the first half because of fires and hiatuses. Hiati. At one point, Liam says something like, "Oh, well, like yeah, we'll just save that for campaign 4." At which
I
point,
remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, okay, well then that means that it must be something. It's no longer like maybe it'll have. It must be something because there's no way that Liam would be out of the loop on anything campaign 4.
100% they've talked about it and
And
they've discussed
if he had said something like that, they'd be like, hey, we can't keep that. We got to cut that. And be like, now there's a hard edit in a live show,
Yeah.
you know, and that's just not available.
You
That's
could-
not going to happen.
You could write that off as tongue in cheek and saying, "Oh yeah, no, we'll run into them in campaign 4, and we'll deal with that in campaign 4, and blah blah." You tongue in cheek, but yeah, hard
not
to know.
with Liam.
No,
You know,
no,
Liam's a little bit too astute up there,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that. And Matthew's response was just kind of like, yeah, just like took it in stride. And at that point, I was like, okay, so I'm definitely expecting a campaign 4 for sure.
Yeah,
Whereas
I'm sure they've
before
talked
that
about it.
last
I'm sure
episode,
I'm sure they're having discussions about it right now. What they're gonna do. They're
Yeah.
taking some time off, but I'm
they've
sure they're still
had
talking.
plenty, yeah,
Yeah.
and they're also still, I've been seeing video games. They are working. I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
hearing a lot of
Absolutely.
their voices and a lot of shit. Okay, well then let's end it there, bud.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man. It's just to sort of recap for everything. I'm not that upset about everything. I'm not that angry. I'm
Prove
really
it.
not. I just didn't like it. That's all.
Yeah.
There was parts to like, but on balance, it wasn't. I didn't. Like you said, went back and watched campaign 1, campaign 2 multiple times. I will not go back and watch campaign 3 again.
Yeah, I'm not interested. You know.
Not exactly. And that's telling.
Yeah, and that's a fairly common consensus. You know,
Yeah.
like
I
campaign
think it
3
is.
was not as good as
Yeah.
the first two.
My
which is-
D&D
which
buddies
is fine.
back in Taiwan and other guys that I know have all said the same thing. They're like, meh.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
I know a few friends who stopped watching. And they're just like, "Are you still watching that show?" I'm just like, "Yeah, I'd still podcast about it too." And they're like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the schedule is up for CR. They're doing a ton of live shows this year. They're doing that world tour. They got one coming up in March in Chicago. They got one coming up. They got a couple coming up in Australia. They've got these live shows coming up, so they're still keeping busy. Campaign 4 might be. I'm hoping they come up with campaign 4 in April. That's my hope.
Might be a
By
nice
April,
birthday
we're
gift
into
for me.
campaign 4. It'd be all right. Yeah. Yep. And we'll be back on the air then, right?
Yeah. Speaking of which,
How long is it going to take you to get into this new place?
it wouldn't take long. We are paying, or I'm paying rent for this place for another month.
Okay.
We're gonna be out of here pretty quickly. We got the
Okay.
keys and
Yep.
but the thing is, we're having the place, like the kitchen, the bedroom, and the bathrooms redone.
Right.
So
That takes time.
yeah, so that might be a couple of months, but that doesn't mean that I won't have my computer set up
Okay.
either here or there.
Okay.
But in the new place for sure. So what do you think? Are we gonna cast next week or
Nah, there's no reason to. I'd like to take, no offense, I'd like to take a break from this for a little bit too, maybe a month or two until
Okay.
they announce. So let's watch EXU and enjoy it. We can chat about it on text, but there's no reason to do this.
Yeah,
Not
there's no
really.
reason to pot it. It's
No,
not Critical Role. It's not you know.
It's Exandria, but it's not the main table, and I don't think there's any reason for us to do it. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to watch it at my leisure. I'd rather not. But we can chat about it for sure on text and we can call or whatever. But no need to record for that. So let's say we'll see each other again for campaign 4,
Yeah.
whatever that may be.
So this will be a little bit of a sign off for now,
Sorry,
and then
you got
the
those
next-
tissues handy?
You want somebody? Hey. I have sinusitis. Yeah, so I guess we won't be potting for a bit until campaign 4 starts.
Until campaign 4. Let's
Yeah,
do that.
until the week after campaign 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, we might talk about Divergence,
Might.
but you know, if something huge happens and something is worthwhile, yeah. But if not,
Yeah,
then
maybe we'll throw up an episode.
We're just gonna start at campaign 4, and I'll be in my new place. And
yeah. I'll just say thank you guys out there, the ones that commented. You know who you are, and we really appreciate the things that the little questions and the stuff that you had to chat about. It's nice. Again, Tim and I did this for ourselves, but it's always nice to know that there's other critters out there that are paying attention. So, thanks, guys. We appreciate 100%.
You. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we're looking forward to campaign 4 starting, because I mean 100%. it's just as exciting as the man. You remember the first episode of campaign 2?
Oh, dude, it was so good.
Remember the first episode of campaign 3? I was down at your house, I think, for both of them.
Yeah.
No, was I down at yours for both?
No, just for the first episode. For the first episode.
Just for the first episode.
Yes.
But for the second campaign?
No.
That was well after. Yeah, but for the third campaign, we were fucking excited. Your giant TV.
Yeah. It was a good time. It was a really good time.
Plate of nachos and shit.
We had D&D the next day, I think, or I don't remember. Whatever.
Drank too much and passed out on your couch.
Drank too much and passed out. Yeah.
On the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm excited for campaign 4 because, frankly, there's nowhere to go but up. Agreed.
And
I'm hoping that you are correct, that they're going to jump forward into the future a bit, because if they start here, ugh.
It's a legit prediction of mine that I think will happen. I really hope.
Yeah, but hey, maybe they'll surprise us in some other ways. But yeah, let's wrap it up there, dude. All right, so we'll be back for campaign 4. So whenever that starts, we will be there 1 week later ish. I mean, so they do it on Thursday. We'll be there on Tuesday.
Yeah, so a few days later, yeah.
And maybe
April, I hope. We'll see. Maybe earlier, maybe March. Who knows? Maybe the end of March, maybe the beginning of April. Yeah. April Fools. When is April Fools? That'd be fun.
I think it's March 1st.
No, April 1st. It's a Tuesday. All right. Well, who knows?
No. Yeah, who knows? Well, hey. Anyway, thanks for sticking with us for this long. I hope you join us when we come back for campaign 4. Follow Ben at bengreenspoon on all socials. Follow me at drummatucka on all socials. I got a show coming up in April on my birthday weekend, April 19th. Cool. We're going to be playing at some festival here, but I don't have any more information, so why the fuck would I even mention it now? But somewhere here in Taiwan County, if you hear about it or if you want to come to it, hit me up. And, man, if nothing else.
That's it, bro. It's been a good campaign. I mean, it wasn't, but it's been good.
Let's not lie to him on the last episode. Come on.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun, especially for you and me, if nothing else. Right?
That's what this all started as. So let's keep it going. Let's do it again.
Yeah. All right. Well, then, hey, if nothing else, then can't wait for the next Friday that we get to watch the new episode.
Yay!
Cheers. All right. Cheers. Hey guys, get in touch in the comments and chat it up. Tell us we're full of shit, and then we'll
always reply.
Touch. Always, yeah. All right. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you next time. Love you. Peace, Ben.
Peace, bro. Take it easy.